If there's one thing I've learned after helping hundreds of businesses to generate leads, it's this. Everything is downstream from a repeatable lead generation system. Most businesses are stuck in a hamster wheel of random tactics. A post here, an ad there, maybe a DM over there, but they have no predictable way to consistently get clients. The difference between the 99% and the top 1% is that they don't rely on random acts of lead gen. They build a single powerful system that generates leads like clockwork. So today, I'm going to walk you through the exact $1 million lead generation system that we've used to generate over $10 million of pipeline, including how we run it here at Expandi. I'm going to show you everything step by step so you can see exactly how it works. This is a strategy that works for any B2B business, and it's the closest thing to a silver bullet for client acquisition that I've ever found. The core strategy, introducing the signal-based outreach system. Before we talk tactics, tools, or templates, we need to zoom out because this entire strategy hinges on one core shift most people never make. The problem with most outreach is that it's truly cold. You're pulling a list, firing off messages, and hoping that the person on the other end happens to be interested right now. And when you do that, everything suffers. This means lower reply rates, higher cost per leads, and more not interested messages. I'm not saying cold outreach is dead in 2026. It's far from it. But usually it's the timing that's wrong. Most people you message are not in buying mode. They're either busy, distracted, or have zero context for why you're showing up in their inbox. The signal-based outreach system flips the entire model on its head. Instead of asking who might be interested, we ask who has already shown interest. These are people who have raised their hand in some way. They've joined a LinkedIn event, participated in a relevant group. That's a signal. And a signal means the conversation has already started. Instead of interrupting strangers with cold outreach, we're joining the momentum. This way, your outreach feels warmer, more relevant, and more human. This is why intent-based outreach consistently beats volume-based outreach. A few years ago, most people would tell you, just send more emails. More volume equals more opportunities for meetings. But today, the approach is backwards. The teams winning now are sending fewer messages to better timed prospects and getting more replies because they're targeting intent instead of guessing. Once you understand this difference, you can build a system and never run out of qualified leads again. The signal source, finding the gold mine. This is where most people get stuck. They understand intent conceptually, but they don't know where to find it. So let me show you the two biggest gold mines. This funnel represents your lead flow. Now, feeding into it, I'm going to draw two circles. These are, hands down, two of the highest intent signal sources on LinkedIn. Let's start with events. When someone registers for a LinkedIn event or webinar, they're literally raising their hand and saying, I'm interested in this topic right now. So if someone signs up for an event called Scaling SaaS Revenue in 2026, we already see the timing and the intent. These people are likely researching, learning, and actively exploring solutions. And the best part, you don't even need to host the event yourself. You can search LinkedIn for events your ideal customers are already attending and identify hundreds, if not thousands of people who are aligned with what you do. Let's take a look at another powerful signal, high-value LinkedIn groups. Joining a LinkedIn group is a form of self-qualification. If someone joins a group called B2B SaaS founders and executives or RevOps and demand gen leaders, they're telling you two things immediately, who they are and what they care about. People are opted in to be there, so this is not a random list. These are real people interested in a specific topic. And that makes LinkedIn groups incredibly powerful for outreach. You're reaching out to people who are already in the right room. The next question is the only one that matters that stumps most people. What do I say without sounding salesy? This is where most people ruin it. They take a warm signal and then hit them with a cold pitch, and the whole advantage disappears instantly. So I'm going to map the exact sequence I recommend, starting with connection requests. The goal of the connection request is not to sell. You can get away with a blank connection request here. But since we're doing intent-based outreach, a little context goes a long way. The only job of this message is to answer the silent question in their head, why is this person messaging me? So keep it human. The most effective opener we found is called the context anchor. Instead of saying, hey, first name, I saw we're in the same group, you anchor the message to a shared reason you're connecting. Two examples. For the first event version, you can say something like, hey, first name, saw you registered for event name. I'm looking forward to it too. Mind if we connect? And for the group version, hey, first name, knows we're both in the same group. Always good to connect with other folks in this space. Want to connect? Pro tip. If your connection request includes a quick question, people can feel the pitch coming from a mile away. Once they accept, you send the first message. And this is the part people mess up the most. Your first DM should not be, hey, do you have 15 minutes to get on a call? Instead, it should be, here's something useful because of the thing you already showed interest in. For example, for the event follow-up, appreciate the connect first name. Since you're checking out event topics, I figured you might find this useful. Want me to send it over? And for the group follow-up, hey, first name, in group name, I see people mentioning this pain point. I put together a short breakdown on what's working right now. Do you want it? Psychologically, you're offering help without any expectations here. All you want from them is an easy yes without sounding like a pitch. That's how you turn cold outreach into a normal conversation. Once they say sure or engage even slightly, we move to email. Not because LinkedIn is bad or anything, but because outreach is so easy to automate now, most inboxes are completely flooded. Emails feel more professional, they're easier to read, and they're easier to forward. You can say something as simple as, cool, what's the best email for you? I'll send it there so it's easier to keep track. This step alone increases the seen rates because you're not trapped in LinkedIn inbox war. After you send the value piece, the follow-up is simple. Just a soft close that makes it easy to continue. Curious, is problem something you're actively working on this quarter? If you want, I can share a couple ideas we've seen work for teams like yours. Don't force a demo or follow up 100 times trying to get them on a call. You're offering help based on relevance and timing, without any expectations. And the reason this whole sequence works is simple. Cold leads need proof, and warm leads need a nudge. So instead of trying to convince someone from scratch, you're just helping them take the next logical step they were already considering. Now I'm going to show you how to systematize this so you're not sending connections one by one like it's your full-time job. Part 3, systematize and scale, the automation layer. Quick pause here. Everything I've shown you so far, intent signals, contextual openers, soft follow-ups, this isn't guesswork. It's based on what actually works in the real world. And you're the type of person who wants to go deeper than just frameworks, and you want to see real benchmarks, patterns, and real-life examples pulled from data, this will help. We just released a free report called The State of B2B Social Outreach. It's built from 100,000 real outreach campaigns, and it breaks things down like what good connection and reply rates look like today, warm-up actions you can do immediately to consistently increase replies, where most teams mess up their follow-ups and lose deals, and how top-performing teams are using automation without killing personalization. So if you're building a system like this, and you want to know what works at scale, this report gives you the data. You can grab it for free using the first link in the description. All right, everything we've covered so far works manually, but here's the reality. Doing this for 10 people a day by hand can be fine, but doing it for 100 to 500 prospects daily at scale is impossible. And this is where most good strategies die, not because they don't work, but because they just don't scale. So now we add the automation layer so that you don't have to hire more SDRs. Instead of manually copying profiles from events or groups, you can use Expandi to pull LinkedIn event attendees and group members in a clean spreadsheet. Then you can use Expandi to automatically reach out to them. In short, you're taking high intent signals and turning them into a usable list in minutes. Now here's where it really clicks. Remember the sequence we just mapped out? Expandi runs that entire flow for you, fully hands off. You can set rules like, if they accept your connection request, send this message. Or if they don't respond, follow up in XYZ days. So instead of reacting manually to every reply, the system handles the busy work and you focus on the conversations coming out of it. This is not spray and pray automation. When this system works, it's because every message is anchored to a LinkedIn event they joined, or a group they're active in, or a problem they're trying to solve. So that when you're reaching out at scale, it still feels like you wrote the message yourself. Quick reality check. Automation does not mean blasting 100 million messages in an hour. That's an obvious red flag, and it can get your account suspended. This is about scaling responsibly. Expandi is cloud-based and mimics natural human behavior. It uses smart daily limits, delays, and pacing. The same rhythm you'd use if you were doing this manually. So you're not hammering LinkedIn or doing anything risky. Everything you've seen is just one piece of the bigger picture. Using strategies like this over at Expandi, we've helped generate over 10 million in pipeline from LinkedIn. And along the way, we've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. So if you want to see what actually moved the needle, what worked, what didn't, and what I doubled down on today, click right here. In the next video, I break down the most valuable lessons you could literally copy and use to grow your business. So I'll see you over there.